Ashley.
Hi, what's up? This is my baby Coco. He's
Oh,
just
okay. Yeah, I know that's one of your prized possessions right there.
yeah. He's like, I'll keep him quiet. He just chills with me.
Yeah.
His cutie pie.
Well, welcome to the show, Sports Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max, Live 365, iHeartRadio. We have one of the best up and coming artists right now, as well as actresses. She's out in Los Angeles from South Jersey. Ashlee Keating, welcome to the show. How's everything going?
Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. You're so sweet. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So I know the new year didn't start off the best for anyone out in LA right now, but how are things on your end and how kind of have you been affected by this?
Yeah, it's my heart goes out to so many people. I'm obviously currently in Los Angeles right now. I'm trying to just stay inside and breathe some clean air. And I'm staying put right now. I'm okay. I did get some alerts that scared me. A lot of people did, and I've had so many friends that have had to evacuate. It's been a crazy week to say the least, in the last week. And I'm trying to post as much as possible, to raise money for people that need food, shelter. I'm going to be posting some things today as well. I'm also posting the link with Music Cares to support that for musicians that have lost, any of their guitars, their piano, anything that they need. So supporting that as well as the animal shelters. It is so devastating, what we're seeing, and it breaks my heart. But what we're strong, and it's amazing to see LA community and everyone come together and really help us get us back to life, basically.
Exactly. How do you think it's going to affect things going forward? Because I look at it, it's not just when you look at the actors, it's regular people live there too that have 9 to 5s.
Oh
Everyone's
yeah.
affected by this, but it's the publicists, the managers, there's the behind the scenes people. How do you think this is going to really put a damper on things? Because you got movie productions going on. So how do you think it's going to put a damper on Hollywood?
I'm trying not to think too much about it. I'm
Yeah.
honestly, and even with social media, I've tried to just keep my mind off of things. I know a lot of people are probably dealing with anxiety and depression right now, and my heart goes out to those people. I'm praying for Los Angeles and everyone, strength and togetherness. It's very, 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 very hard time, and you know, through all this, I've still been doing my thing because, this is Los Angeles. The world is still kind of moving, which is really tough. But, I'm very grateful to be continuing to work. And I've had power, right now. So it's tough, man. It's just really tough. And I'm trying not to think about it, but it's definitely um, it's been inconvenient for a lot of people, that's for sure, and productions and a lot of things going on. But there has still been a lot of things happening, but we're just trying our best, and that's all we can do, and just really come together and um be there for everybody.
Yeah, that's important. There's a lot that's going on right there, especially out in LA with the fires. My prayers and heart just with everyone out there, hoping that there's a quick recovery. But nice and naughty. The year's starting out naughty in LA right now with the weather. But how was 2024?
I lost you for a second. I was like, did I just
Oh,
lose
okay.
power? What happened?
Yeah, nice and naughty. That's the new single. The new year start out naughty for LA with the fires going on. But you said that 2025 is your year. Why is 2025 going to be the year for you?
I got a lot of things coming, and I'm just very excited. I've been working really hard, and I can't say too much right now, but I'm very excited.
Would you say 2024 was the year that really set you up? I mean, you've been doing this for a while, but was there something special that happened in 2024 that really got you on the plane to where you're at right now?
Yeah, I think I was prepared mentally for a lot of things. Everybody goes through things, but I just feel like, I really grew a lot in 2024, and I grow every year. I'm a perfectionist. I'm a Virgo, so I'm like always trying to outdo myself, which is a blessing and a curse, you know what I mean? So, more of a blessing, but so I think that, it really prepared me for what's to come this year. And we never know like what's going to happen day to day. As you can see, like what we're dealing with in Los Angeles right now, like, the next day. I just cherish every moment, every day, and work hard and do what I can, and that's really all you can do.
Pretty much. It's to stay focused, and 2025 is going to be a big year for you. Nice and Naughty with this song, you were afraid to release it at first. Is that right? I heard.
Yeah, it was different for me. It was definitely different for me. And the holidays are, like you cherish the holidays, being around family, friends. And it's just the spirit of the holiday. And I went a little bit in a different direction with this song and went for a little bit of a sexier, more mature feel. That obviously was done in a good way, but it was just a little different. So like it started kind of as a joke, us joking in the studio about the title and what direction we wanted to go in. And but personally, that's my vibe, like, and so I was just like, oh, yeah, like let's do it. But I was, you never really know what people are gonna think or perceive, or so I had no idea. And so it kind of I was like, "Ooh, I don't know what people get." I think, the more that I put myself out there and the more eyes that I have, it's always a little bit, you just never know. And so I love being out of my comfort zone though. I feel like if I'm not out of my comfort zone, I'm not growing and becoming the best version of myself and the best artist.
That's important. The growth thing that you mentioned, that's support for anyone. You have to grow in your personal life in order to really get out there and share that artistically. And you've been doing this for a while. So let's take it back to South Jersey. How was it growing up there? You big sailor, you like competing out there. So how was it growing up in South Jersey?
Yeah, I think I love South Jersey. I love where I'm from. I'm an Italian girl. And, with the sauce, that's where saucy came from. And I think it really influenced a lot of my sound and where I am now musically and where the direction that I'm about to go in and what I'm doing. And it's just I love being from South Jersey, and I'm actually from near where Atlantic City is. So there was always a ton of like, shows and dancing and just that atmosphere of like almost like Vegas, but not because it's smaller, of obviously. And then there's the shore, and there's just so much culture inside of me that I use toward my music, and especially the type of music that I used to listen to growing up. So it's really made me be who I am, and I'm honing more and more into that. That's for sure.
I could tell. How did you get into competition with the sailing? Because
So
you have the
random.
USA. You could have been in this USA competition.
Yeah, I'm like, you do your research. Okay. Yeah, because I don't talk about it that much, but I'm a very competitive person, which is I feel like a good thing, and I like I said, I love outdoing myself all the time. And I had family members that, grew up sailing and were around that kind of stuff, and very athletic and sporty, which I'm very athletic and sporty myself. So it was something that again, like it wasn't my thing when I first started it. And I had friends, that I grew up with that were on teams and sailing. And so it was kind of something that like I did outside of my, entertainment, music, theater background. I obviously always preferred to be in that world because that's like my heart and soul, like entertainment, music, theater, acting, all that stuff. So I, always wanted to be doing that, but I just kind of like did it because friends were involved, and it was a good, place to be to learn teamwork and do something completely different. Because in sailing you really have to work with others and you're on a team. And it was just something that was, again, totally out of my comfort zone, not something I necessarily wanted to do. But then as I grew and really set my mind to it, I ended up getting really good at it. And so I was on a competitive sailing team in South Jersey. And at the time I was kind of still doing a lot of, music stuff. I think as I was on the team, I then got discovered on Radio Disney. So it just kind of, I ended up, basically how I qualified for the US team trials is I was with my friends. We were on a sailing team, and we'd go around the state to kind of compete in different competitions to basically get to that point where we were, on the US. We were chosen for the US team trials. So you had to like rank at a certain point at these competitions, which I ended up doing, which is insane. But again, I'm very competitive. And when I set my mind to something, I really go for it. So that's kind of like how it happened. But then I never ended up going to the US team trials because I was in the middle of Radio Disney and performing and doing my thing. So I just decided not to go and do it because like music is my heart and soul. So I just ended up not going to the team trials, but I did qualify for them.
Yeah. And that was an important moment. But this really all started because you were naturally gifted, basically singing born. As soon as you were born, this is what you wanted to do out there singing the Al Albert show. Your mother was getting you out there. Who was the person that really kind of put it into your mother's ear about getting out there? Did you ever get that story about how she found out
Yeah,
about
I
the?
think, I think it, well, when I was born, I really was like, this is my path. I was born to do. I was one of those babies where it's just, I popped out of my mom and it was like, I was born to sing and dance, born to be on camera, just that type of person. And I would sing and dance around the house all the time. I don't know. I think a friend of hers like basically was like, "Hey, she should audition, for this show. They're looking for kids." And I went and of course, got it. And Al Alberts was is I loved every minute of that. And I loved looking at my old videos from back in the day. And I would wear these cute little dresses. I was 3 years old and it's insane to me, and I remembered all the words to my songs and would sing a song every single week. And the best part was like me telling a joke. I love comedy. I love laughing. And so you would sing a song and then tell a joke with the kids. And I was just always very outgoing and confident and never really cared what people thought. Like I just was doing me.
Yeah, that's important. You can't worry about what other people think because they're not always going to have your best interest. Even when you get to the point to where you're going out there, you're doing these shows, you get to Broadway. So how was it working with Richard Chamberlain on Broadway at the age of 6?
Yeah, so 3 years later, I mean, I was doing shows and doing all that, and then I auditioned for The Sound of Music and ended up booking the role of Gretel in The Sound of Music with Richard Chamberlain, and he is such a legend, so it was just to this day is so incredible to have been in a cast with him, and he was like a fatherly figure to me, like, he was just so welcoming, so heartwarming, and, the whole cast was incredible, so it's something that I will always cherish and never forget.
Do you remember anyone that was notable in the audience at any of your performances? Sometimes you'll hear these stories about, I think there was one person I had on my show once saying that Whoopi Goldberg was in the audience and that she discovered her. Was there anyone in the audience that you remember at all?
Well, I was 6, so
Yeah, it was a long
I
time ago.
yeah, well, I was so young that
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even really put 2 and 2 together, because I was so young, and I don't really think they ever talked about, like, if somebody, reputable, like, was there. We never really talked about it like that, I'm sure there was, but I was just doing my thing.
Yeah. From there, how did you get out to Philly as the role for Annie? Because you get to play Annie.
Yeah. So crazy story. I literally just went to an open audition and I was like, oh my gosh, I loved Annie, growing up and I had to go to the open call. So I went to the open call and kept making the rounds, making the rounds, making the rounds. And I booked Annie, which was really, really crazy. Cause I think we went in there like not even going for a particular role. Like I obviously, of course, wanted to play Annie, but I think we were just auditioning and then they chose like who they thought fit what characters. And yeah, I booked it.
And then it just went on from there. Do you prefer the stage? Because you have a lot of stage experience. So are you more in preference to the stage than film?
I love both. I
Mhm.
really, really love both. I actually I mean, stage is great because I do it now naturally, with what I do as a pop artist. But I think TV film is more intriguing to me, believe it or not. I've always loved movies. I love seeing a whole like story come to life on the screen. I love going to the movie theater. Um, I just recently saw Wicked and was like, oh my God. Like it was insanely good. So I love seeing it come to life on the screen and TV. I love like comedies. I mean, I love it all, to be honest. Like any opportunity I get to do any of those three, I'm like down if it's the right type of, character for me.
Exactly. It used to do these competitions too when you were younger, performing Missy Elliott songs. She's an idol of yours. So what were these competitions?
I'm dead. I'm like, yeah, you really did your I was great. But so yeah, Missy Elliott, I was so funny as a child. Like honestly, I don't because even my family, they didn't really listen to that music. And I'm like this little kid, like I'm listening to Sierra, like Missy Elliott, like I don't know. I was just so funny. And something always I did ballet, I did a bunch of, I did all types of dance, lyrical, jazz, ballet. But hip hop was like I loved moving my body in that sense. And I even loved that type of music, which is so wild. I just because no one really taught me that. And no one, like I said, no one in my family was really like listening to that stuff. Like I just gravitated toward it. So yeah, it was really funny. Like I'll never forget it. I think, I was doing privates because I wanted to do a solo competition as well as doing my jazz. Oh, I always loved tap too. I loved tap. And so I did a solo and I ended up doing a Missy Elliott song. And that was really fun. But that was like my first main solo that I did. And I just remember being so different than everyone else. Cause normally when you go to those competitions, it's like tons of lyrical, jazz. It's just not like, and I was that girl like up on the stage doing my thing as a solo doing hip hop to Missy Elliott.
That's wild. And then eventually getting out to the Star Search with Arsenio Hall. So how was your experience being on the show at that time? Because he's an icon.
Oh yeah. No. And like I said, I love comedy. And Arsenio, I just remember him being so funny. Oh, hi Coco. Yeah, my light keeps flickering and he's like um in the bathroom. But yeah, he's so funny and I loved him, and I remember I had a funny moment where my hair got stuck in my competitor's hair. Like we hugged each other when I won and my hair got stuck in her like hair clip and then Arsenio said something funny like but being on Star Search was literally the most incredible experience. I was chosen literally for like the last episode of the season. So, and I was an alternate basically that they flew out there. Like I wasn't even on the show yet. And we had to compete when we got out to California. It was my first time in Los Angeles. They flew me out and I was just in awe and disbelief and did my thing. And then I ended up getting on the show and I just worked really, really hard. But the experience to this day is just something that I'll never, ever, ever, ever forget.
No, you can't. He's one of those people too, when you just look at him and you laugh because he's just one of
Oh,
those
he's
comedians.
hysterical.
Yeah. It's like Eddie Murphy.
And you know what's funny? One day this is like, I can't remember how long ago this was, but I remember I ran into him in Studio City. Like, I don't know when this was. And it was a while ago, but I remember running. I was like, "Oh my God, that's Arsenio Hall! Like, what the heck?" And I think I called him over and was like, "Hey, I was on Star Search with you. Like, I was this little kid." Da, da, da. And he was like, we started a little conversation, but that was it. But yeah, he's hilarious. Love him.
Yeah. And you've been making your connections for a while now. And we could touch on one because you're from Jersey. So how was it meeting Snooki?
Oh my God. Love her. I was like, and first of all, she's wearing cheetah, and I'm just like, I'm a hoop girly too. I think she had her hoops in and nails. I'm like, oh, I'm so Jersey. It's hilarious. I used to get like people used to joke about it all the time, but when I met her, it made just so much sense. And like we took a selfie at the MTV Awards, and I was like, hey girl, I was like, I'm from Jersey too, da, da. And I was like, JWoww was in the movie with me, da da da. And we talked for a second, but she is so sweet and she's so outgoing like me and like it felt like two Jersey sisters like uniting and but when we took the selfie we both went and I was like, see, this is just why, and you're wearing cheetah and I love it.
Now, do you miss the weather in Jersey? It's cold.
No.
Yeah.
But it's crazy what's going on in the country right now because it's like freezing on the East Coast, snowing, snowstorms. I do love, when there's snow. like for a second, but I love the warm weather. So yeah.
Yeah, nothing beats the LA weather.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Star Search, the Disney Incubator Program. Now, this was an important time for you with the Incubator Program because I believe this was a producer out there that discovered you in the music lane.
Sorry, I don't know if it's,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think,
it kind of froze up.
yeah, I think we're supposed to get more wind in California right now because up until Wednesday with these fires and everything going on. So I'm like, I don't know if something's going on with my Wi-Fi.
It
I
happens.
Everything you just said.
Yeah, it happens. But the Disney Incubator Program, that was an important time for you because you were able to make some valuable connections there. There was a producer there that discovered you that kind of really got you into the industry. So kind of get through that process with me because you were out there. Now you were recording the studio, making songs, getting the connections to movies. So kind of walk me through that process.
Yeah, yeah. So it was like a fast forward a few years after I was on Star Search. I had done like I was doing competitions, just trying to get myself out there and sing like cover songs, do my thing. And I had done some competition, and this producer at the time was working on High School Musical and discovered me and came up to me and my mom and was like, literally like, I have to work with you kind of thing. And we started a relationship. I wasn't even sure at the time, like if we were going to work together or not, but like he really believed in me and ended up came back out to LA, did some music with him. And literally next thing you know, like right after we did the music, Radio Disney was interested in me. And I was like, how is this even happening right now? And they chose me for the incubator program, which at the time was for up and coming artists, and they played your music on the radio for 2 weeks. So that was the first time I ever they like discovered me as a pop artist. And to this day, I'm just so forever grateful for them believing in me and seeing something in me. And yeah, they really are the ones that discovered that.
Yeah. You also got featured in MTV. What was kind of those earliest moments for you remembering MTV?
Oh my gosh, I was glued to MTV, obsessed. I was probably even too young to even be watching MTV, but I was like obsessed. And I loved like all the like In Sync, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Destiny's Child. Like that era was everything. And just, when they had the artists come into the studio and perform and their music, and they did it live. And yeah, I was glued to it. So the fact that like this past in 2024, like toward the latter part of the year, I had gone to the VMAs, and then literally right after that they had played Thirsty for MTV Spankin' New, which is 4 new artists. I cried literally when this happened because I'm such a huge fan. Huge fan. Love MTV, and obviously like Jersey Shore was on MTV. Like I just love MTV. And so that was a huge moment. And then fast forward, released Nice and Naughty. And then this time it wasn't even on Spankin' New. It was literally on MTV. And I was back home in Jersey. So like family got to see, friends got to see. I was like telling the whole world, like, go watch MTV Live. This is when it's on. Da, 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 da. Like, it's supposed to be on these days. Like, and I remember I was like working out in my living room. And I just turned on MTV Live and I saw my video and I like freaked out. And it's so surreal to me, like that my video would be on MTV. And this is just the beginning. So I'm like, wow, like I'm so honored and thankful to MTV for believing in me, because they don't pick a lot of people for their videos. So I'm just very, very grateful.
No, they don't really. It's rare to see videos anymore. You have to watch ridiculousness 24/7, but that's all. I think that's ridiculous, but that's a whole
MTV
other story.
MTV Live, I love ridiculousness too. But MTV
Oh,
Live is so interesting because it's on cable TV. It's just a separate from like it's MTV, but then MTV Live just plays music videos all the time.
okay. So they're
And
separate channels then.
yes, so I learned this.
Okay.
So yeah, and it is MTV, but MTV Live is I think specifically a bunch of music
For
videos.
music,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So that's where people need to go and watch and discover the talent that's really popping right now. Yeah, you
It's
got to
so
check
cool
this out.
'cause it's so cool because it's like, I don't know. I always loved listening to the radio and watching TV because I feel like you really discover new people that way as well. I mean, TikTok and all the other ways on social media is great as well, but it's cool what they put on their playlists and stuff. Like I love seeing, and even me, I was discovering other new artists that I haven't seen before, and I'm like, oh, they're cool, you know. So it's really interesting.
Mhm. You mentioned Britney Spears before because she was one of your favorite artists, just watching on the VMAs and just MTV when you were younger. So, what was that first tour? What album was the first tour that you saw her at, the concert?
It was in 2001, and it was Dream Within a Dream, which is like,
Okay.
oh my gosh, that tour was insane. And it's such a funny story because I went with two of my like really close girlfriends. I was like so young, like I wasn't even, I was very young. And she at the time it was very controversial because she, you know, even though I thought like she wasn't doing anything wrong, but I remember her talking about that literally like during, you could not get tickets. Like you could not get tickets. I forget how we even, I don't know. I think I was probably the last person to ever get a ticket, but I was at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City is where she performed. I was dead center, like at the very last like row, dead center. Like I couldn't even, I felt like I was gonna fall. It was that high up. Like she looked like a peanut. Like the last seat possible you could have possibly gotten to go see this concert, but I loved her so much, and I will never forget it because it was like this. Like this is where the I thought it was so cool because I do remember her doing like this moment where she kind of like flew over the arena. And I love when artists put so much into their shows, and it was definitely an experience. And it was the very first concert I had ever seen live.
Yeah, like Pink. Pink. I know Pink puts on a big show like that.
Love Pink. Pink and Britney, I absolutely loved back then. Love, love, love.
Yeah, we need more artists like that, but it's rare nowadays. And this kind of brings me to the question of how do you feel just the things that, how has it really changed since you've gotten to LA out in Hollywood?
Yeah, I think social media has really changed the game in the way that music moves, what people like. I think, the internet kind of tells you in a sense, and also with streaming services and DSPs and everything, it has changed. It's gone very digital. So you really can connect through the internet and through social media without even performing live now. I mean, you do still need to perform live, but things have it's changed a lot. Definitely changed a lot.
Yeah. Are you still with Gibson? Do you still have that partnership with Gibson, the guitars?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen them in a while. And I think their offices changed or they moved somewhere, but yeah, I used to go to the Beverly Hills um like office, and they, oh my God, they had so much in there. It was incredible. But yeah, I'm always forever grateful, and I do still play guitar, not with these nails. I'm not like Dolly Parton. I can't do that. I don't know how she does it, but yes, love Gibson.
Yeah. And you do a lot of
Yeah,
charity work
I can
too.
talk forever. I'm sorry, what?
You do a lot of charity work too. So are you still with that children's program back that used to be with one back in the day?
Yeah, I did a lot with Starlight Children's
Hmm.
Foundation. I have not worked with them in a while. I know they are still doing stuff, but that is a huge goal of mine this year to kind of, start working with more organizations. And yeah, I love being a philanthropist and giving back as much as possible.
That's important. Are there any product placements that you want to get involved with? Because I could tell that you're into fashion, you like the imaging and everything, and just being out in Hollywood. Is that something that you're interested in?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I obviously do the whole like influencer thing as well, like just trying to share my life and give that piece of me to my fans. And I love fitness, love fitness. I work out. So I think, getting more involved in that area and definitely fashion. And yeah, there's definitely some brands and some things, that I would love to be a part of and could definitely see happening in the future.
The pandemic quarantine was a reset period for a lot of people, especially you. You went back to South Jersey and to the point to where you were revisiting CDs that you had. So what were some of these CDs that you have? Because that's so rare nowadays because everyone's all on the
Oh, I
iPhone with
know.
Apple Music. No one has CDs anymore. I still have them. So it was rare to hear you say that you went back and
Yeah.
listened to them.
Well, yeah, it's so funny because in my room that I grew up in, like and some things you're like, oh, you don't keep, but I even found like a dead old iPod that you can't use, obviously. That's just like there as a memorabilia. I don't know. But yeah, like I had a whole like I would save. I mean, it's kind of cool. I love memorabilia stuff too, and so like I saved a lot of stuff. Even like, I have posters in my bedroom from when I was on Broadway, like the actual original posters, and a lot of different memorabilia from like my childhood and me growing up as an artist and in theater and everything. So yeah, I saved a bunch of CDs, which is really cool, and I think well, obviously had like the original Britney CD, the original Christina CD, Christina Aguilera, Destiny's Child, uh, uh, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, Tina Turner too. I actually did some dances to Tina Turner, so I had her CD as well. I loved her. Oh my gosh, just like so many people like Broadway CDs too. Like I had like Lion King. It was a random collection, I would say.
Yeah, but at least you have that, and that's something that a lot of people don't have, and especially with the cover art, because we don't get that anymore. Now you have to really research and do your investigation to look to see who's behind the scenes and putting the album together, and just really getting out there. But I learned about this EP that you were working on during that time. Is that what we're going to be getting soon? Hopefully, are you still working on that EP?
Oh yeah, it's been done.
It's been done.
I've also been working on other music as well, so there's gonna be some surprises coming that because I'm always evolving as an artist, so there's just more, there's always more. And but yeah, Thirsty and Saucy were two songs off of that project. And yeah, there's just a lot more in store that I'm very excited to share.
How was it opening for Demi Lovato? Because this was a part to where you learned that you had a lot of fans. They waited for you outside for the meet and greet.
They were hardcore fans. Like they actually like no, I didn't have a security guard and I didn't have anyone assigned to me. And so Demi and I like we had met backstage and I went to my dressing room and she was there with her she I think had like two or three security guards, I think. And I remember being like in this one area and the fans were kind of outside, but then like there was this area that were the dressing rooms and then her car came in and I remember going up to her and I still have a photo of us and it's so adorable. And she was so sweet and welcoming. And I remember her even saying to me, she's like, "Oh, I love your shirt." I was like, "No, I love your shirt." And that kind of moment like stood out to me. But she was very sweet, and the fans were like screaming, and then she left, and then I was like, "Uh oh!" Like the fans are all like outside, and my car was like not really in a protected area. Area like it was like yeah, I don't know. And I just it's kind of a blur to me, but like I remember my brother was there and like my family and like him and his friend were there and he kind of like ended up having to protect me somewhat because like they literally rushed to my car and were like trying to take a picture. And this is like after I just said hi to Demi, like they were freaking out. And then I sold out of all my merchandise that day in the pouring rain. It was like a thunderstorm. It was just madness that day. But it was literally a huge moment in my career, I feel like, because the fans were just so welcoming. And I'm not like, I was nowhere near like Demi's level or, and they were just so, and I still to this day have fans following me from my Radio Disney era and I remember quite a few of them. And when they send me pictures, it's just like, it makes me tear up because it reminds me of like how far I've come in my career and how these fans still follow me to this day. And that, they are inspired by me just means everything.
Especially too, because you have fans that really know your history, being a part of small scenes on iCarly, Victoria. So you got your chance there in Nickelodeon, even though there's a lot of controversy there, but you got your chance there in Nickelodeon.
Yeah, yeah, no, it was good times. It was good times. And it's funny when people bring up pictures or like, hey, was this you or like whatever? I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, like, yeah, good times though. Good times though.
Yeah, big time moments for you, and you have a lot more. So when we really look at just all the people that you've interacted with, who would you say has kind of gave you that most important advice? Because you've been around some heavyweights.
Yeah, I think I'm still to this day like getting more and more advice. I think as I continue to grow, the more people that I meet that have had that weight of success is where I really learn from, like, different artists that are legendary names or people that have worked around them. I just really love to take it all in. Whether I'm in the studio, whether I'm rehearsing or backstage meeting someone, like, I just love to ask questions and just to be around in their presence and learn from them. But there's not really one specific person that I'm always like learning from so many different people. But I think, kind of going back to what I said about not really, I think this has really been sticking with me lately, is kind of not caring what other people think of you and just doing you, and kind of letting all that white noise kind of go. That's really, I think, something has stayed with me, um because it's so important. It's so important to just kind of not care, do you, keep going, keep hustling, and that's all you can do.
Yeah. And when we look at your movie work too, you were in the Mint. So how did you get that role? Kind of get into that process for the Mint? Because Samantha Cole, that was the character.
Yeah. Yeah, oh my gosh, so crazy. So I just auditioned, I liked the character. I auditioned. Obviously, that was something completely different than who I am as an artist. I was playing this like country girl from the South, from Tennessee. And it was really fun. It was a fun role for me to play. But I just love, being involved with films or TV shows that have music involved and have that kind of storyline. Like, I loved Nashville and Empire, and this kind of like felt almost like a mixture of that in a sense, in a movie where like it brought the country world and the hip hop world kind of together. And I don't know, it really resonated with me. And so I was lucky enough to have booked the role. And then when they booked me, they had heard my single Red Eye, which ended up being kind of like almost like which is really crazy because I had just done that song, and the storyline of the movie, they were like, "Oh my gosh, like, we love this song. Like, how can we need to get this cleared to, like, we want this to be one of the main songs in the film." And it just kind of like kept escalating, and more and more of my music got involved. And I wrote a song for the film as well. And it just, yeah, it just kind of all came together without really trying.
What did that role teach you just about Hollywood productions and just giving you that experience for the first time being on a set?
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I loved the cast, I love the crew, and it's very similar to theater, in a sense, where everyone kind of comes together, but it's just fun every day showing up on set and having that cast and crew that you get so close with and kind of become a family. And I learn from my fellow actors every day, and we just go through our lines and we do different scenes. It's just, I love being a part of that whole process. And I learned a lot, like, just from doing a film. It was different, it was very different, and it was just such a great experience.
Big TV person. You mentioned it earlier that you love movies and TV shows. So what's your top movie and top TV show of all time?
So hard for me to like choose a TV show, and like, I'll tell you, like, off the top of my head, like, now, like, what I'm liking, because I'm like, oh my God, I don't have like a favorite of all time favorite. It's so hard. But like a few favorite movies would be like, I love Legally Blonde. I've always loved that movie. I loved Wicked, was probably one of the top of my list now, like, insane. Um, um, and then like Devil Wears Prada. I love like rom-coms and stuff too. Like, I just love rom-coms. And then TV shows. Right now I'm watching Tell Me Lies on Hulu. So random, but also love it. And then oh my gosh, what else? Like, there's so many. There's like, I can't name. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like, there's just so many. There's so many.
Too many to choose from.
No, I know. That's like, I'll go on Netflix and like, or whatever, and I'll just be like scrolling like for 30 minutes. Like, okay, I don't know what to watch because all of this looks good. Like, just make a decision.
Yeah. There's a lot of choices out there when it comes to film, especially on Netflix now. It's just always new shows emerging. But what's that role that you really want to play? What's the dream role?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I would love, like, in a dream world, to be able to play Britney in the biopic that is coming out. I'm like, if there was a role that I could play, that would be iconic. Just because there's a lot of actually things that, as an artist and her growing up where she comes from, like, there's a lot of things that I can relate to in that story. We have a lot of the same background, like from Disney to she was even on Star Search like me, but in like years prior before they did the reboot. Like, we have a very similar backstory, and that is the type of role, like, I feel like I could play that character so well, and I mean, resonate, with who she is and who I am, and kind of bring myself to that character. Something like that would be like a dream role. But also like any like musical TV film productions that, I also loved Burlesque, that when Christina Aguilera was in Burlesque. Oh my gosh. Like, yes, that movie's amazing too. Like, roles like that excite me so much because it brings kind of like all the aspects together. And but I also really like in acting, I really love to kind of go outside of my comfort zone, and do something that people wouldn't expect. And kind of, and really really hone in on who the character is and kind of bring myself to that. So, but yeah, I would have to say that would be like such a dream, to be honest. A biopic, I already know, especially John Chu. I think that's he directed Wicked. I'm like, hit me up. I hope I meet you someday because, well, also he's insanely. I mean, he did an unbelievable job with Wicked. I'm like, he's incredible. So yeah.
Yeah, and you're still out there meeting these connections, manifesting all these people in your life. Olivia Rodrigo, I saw that picture online.
Oh, she's so sweet. Oh my gosh. Like, you know how you like perceive people and then you meet them and you're like, you're even better in person. Like, you're even nicer. Like, and I just saw, I have to say, like, well, we clicked in 2 seconds. Like, we talked the same language. And I was just like, she was like, slay. And I was like, yeah, slay per. And when we were taking the selfie, but she just is so genuine and so real with her fans, and I love how she truly takes the time to connect with them, and she's so graceful, and she really does deserve everything that she has. And watching her, I was just inspired by her. I was like, wow, like, I just love seeing artists that genuinely care about other people.
Yeah, that's important, and there is a lot of that in the industry. I think a lot of people really kind of have misconceptions because I think they think a lot of stars are kind of stuck up and snobby, which there are a lot of them. I've had my encounters with them, and I'm sure you have too. But there's a lot of good people in the industry. I think that it really doesn't get much of a light shed on them, and it's great to hear stories like that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
Definitely.
100%. What was this book that you read? I heard about this book that really inspired you. There was something about a cover that was special. I can't remember. I remember doing my research about this.
Oh, it was like some random fiction, like, pop star book.
That's it. Yeah, the pop star book.
I don't know what it's so funny. Like, I wish when I was home in Jersey, I could find it. Like, for the life of me, I have no clue where it went. I'm like, where did it go? But yeah, like, it's kind of funny. I just remember taking a liking to like the front cover of it, and it was about a pop star, and it was totally fiction, like completely not real. But as a kid, yeah, I was just like intrigued by it, and yeah, I don't remember anything about the book and don't remember what the name of it was. But yeah, the I just I it's kind of vague, like like what it looked like in the front, but I do remember it was like a girl that looked very that was it was about a pop star, and she was like dressed in a certain way, and yeah. I wish I remember the name of it, because then I would like do a deep search.
Yeah. When did you find out that you had a big LGBTQ following? I know you performed at Pride all over the place, pretty much in New York too. So when did you find out, even prior to that, that you had a big following there?
Yeah, it was definitely when I started charting on Billboard, actually, around that time, because I was performing. They were playing my song "Hurt Me So Good" in a lot of the LGBTQ clubs. And I was actually like, I performed at one or two or a few of them, a handful of them at the time, and they were playing remixes, and they were really heavily like playing my music video and the song in West Hollywood. I was in the community, and we literally saw my music video playing. And like I think they noticed me, and they were, and it was just like so cool. Like I had never ever dreamed that that would happen. And I do have family members in the community that were kind of coming out at that time, which is kind of crazy. So it kind of all is like a full circle moment. And but that's around the time, I think, when I really realized, it's like, wow, like I have a lot of them as fans, and they're a part of me because I have family members and a brother, a part of the community. So I'm just such a huge ally and activist to them.
Yeah, it Hurt Me So Good. That was a breakthrough song for you. What would you say was your biggest one that was really the breakthrough? Your biggest single?
Well, I mean, I would definitely say, because that was top 10 on Billboard, that,
That was
but
big.
so crazy because like the way that song happened, it came out of nowhere. Like I literally was sitting on my couch, um, mad at a relationship that was toxic at the time. And it literally, the whole song came to life. Like I just like, you got me feeling this way. Like it started literally from that first lyric, and then just like escalated into this whole song within like an hour or two of me writing it with no beat, nothing. And and then the beat kind of came to my head, where like I wanted certain things to come to life. um it is just wild how that song came about. And that wasn't even supposed to be a lead single. Like I was recording and cutting a bunch of other stuff, and I remember being scared to even give it to the producer and being like, hey, can you listen to this voice memo? Like, it's so vulnerable. Like, it's like, and you're like, I sound like shit. This isn't even recorded. Like, and he was like, yo, like, this is the whole vibe. Like, I see it. And he's like, tell me what you think. Tell me what you hear. And he was like, yo, I heard that too. And then it just kind of, I recorded that, and then I did a bunch of other songs, but then how that even became the one, I really do not know. And then it top 10, and I'm like, how is this how did this happen? Like, so, and then I feel like after that, Saucy also was a huge moment for me, because that was the first song that was played on FM radio, and for it to be Kiss FM, nonetheless, like in Los Angeles, is just unbelievable. So, you know,
I
and we're
saw
just
that.
getting started.
Yeah, I saw that. Congratulations. That's great that you're still in the radio, because you still are someone that gets in the car and
Oh
appreciates
yeah.
radio.
I really do. I really do. I really do. Obviously, I love all the DSPs too, and like, Spotify playlists, and like hearing those and discovering people. But I don't know. It's something magical to me about turning on the radio and hearing music.
It's organic.
Yeah.
It's the original
You never
way.
know here. Like, you just never know. I mean, they have songs on repeat and whatever, but like, I don't know. I just love it.
How did you get connected with Timberland? Because you got in that circle with his producer.
Yeah, well, that's what's so funny. So it was during Hurt Me So Good. But a friend had introduced me to this producer who was signed to Timbaland's publishing, Bluestone. And he was the one that they actually had a record that like they were like, oh, like you should try it, you should cut this, da da da. And of course, I was like, oh, this is a vibe. This is cool. Like, wasn't sure about it, but like, you never know. And so, and then as I was talking to him, we really vibed. We were like two Virgos. So it was just like click, click. And I ended up actually cutting a bunch of stuff in Brooklyn, in New York. and I stayed at my friend's place in New York, and we became really really close. And but like when we worked on Hurt Me So, like, so actually we went to work on that record and then work on a bunch of other stuff. But in the meantime, Hurt Me So Good happened. But yeah, basically that's really how it happened.
Crazy in that circle, hip hop heavyweight for sure. I read that you're independent online. Is that something that you're looking to get out of and be with a label? I think it's the independent era now, and you can really thrive in that lane if you know the business behind it and you already have an audience. So is that something that you want, record label deal?
I definitely have always seen that for myself. So yes, I
Mhm.
could definitely see that happening for sure. Definitely in the near future. And there's so many ways of going about it, but I definitely would love to either partner with someone or have a label deal with a major, or there's just so many ways, but I can definitely see that happening very soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's someone, because this is interesting because you mentioned you like to work with, the newer artists, just listening to a lot of the newer artists. You mentioned the playlist. You're linking up with Olivia Rodrigo. We saw you there in the pictures and just you admire the legends of the past. So who are some people that you do want to work with? Who's on that bucket list for you on a song
Um,
collaboration?
there are
A lot.
so many people. Yeah. I
Bruno
actually,
Mars.
yeah, I would love to do. I don't know. Yeah, I've probably said that before in an interview. I would love to collab with Bruno Mars, but I could also see, like, I love Chris Brown. I'm obsessed with all his music, and like his latest album is like everything he puts out is so insane. Like, I just, that man, I've met him before, like casually, but I've never seen him perform live. And I'm like, I've heard, like, I was actually just having a conversation with a friend the other day, and they were telling me how unbelievable he is performing. Like, and I obviously I dance as well. Probably not as good as him. I don't know, but that would be quite interesting. But yeah, like he's just so insanely talented, and I think that would be so dope to work with him. There are just so many people though, man. Like, um, there are so many people. Like I think a lot of female rappers would be dope. And yeah, I love Bruno Mars. He's so soulful. I love oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Post Malone. Post Malone. I would love to do something with Post Malone. He's so dope. And he's like so creative and all over the place. And I love that.
Especially, how about Usher? You were at one of his performances. Did you get to meet
I
him?
mean, yeah, I think I was like this close.
Mhm.
I didn't actually meet him personally, but he was like right there,
Mhm.
there. He obviously is another one that would be insane. Him be in his presence. I feel like that would actually be someone that I feel I don't get starstruck at all. Like it's kind of weird. Like I literally don't. I just feel inspired by the people I meet. So like someone like him, like would probably be a moment where like he's such a legend. Like I'm like, you know, but yeah, he would be, his voice is so, it's same thing. Dance, incredible, performer, unbelievable, like artist, and his soulful voice. And I grew up listening to his music too, of course. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that would be insane. That would definitely be insane. I
It
could
would
see it.
be.
I could see it. I could see it. And also like I've done a lot in Atlanta too, so I could see the vibes. ATL.
Yeah. Well, you got Christmas on lock now, so you got the Mariah Carey trend there with the Christmas song. It's thirsty, saucy. So what's
Yep.
kind of the new song that we're gonna get, as far as I know you don't want to reveal too much and you can't really, but what's the theme that you're heading for now?
I can't say anything yet. I
Oh.
feel so bad. Um, it's gonna be lit though. Like y'all are not gonna expect what's about to. Yeah, I'm excited.
Are you looking to ramp up the acting more this year as well? Is that something that you're looking to do?
I mean, obviously music is like my focus right now,
Okay.
and but I think it's one of those things where if specific projects, I can still, I am very much like I make the time for everything, and I'm such a workaholic that if like a script came to me, an audition came to me that was the right fit, like I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna make it happen. So I definitely, it's not something that I'm like not gonna, I'm saying no to. Like I always find a way to make time for things that I really want to be involved in. So if the right thing is or an opportunity comes to me or whatever, I'm definitely down. So you just never know. You never
Yeah.
know.
You never know. Say if they came to you with some big TV script, you'd be the star of the show. Would you run with that, even though you're focused
Yeah.
on music? Yeah.
Of course, I would make
Yeah.
time for sure to like, I'd be like, yep, let's do it. So yeah, like I said, I'm a workaholic. So I would
Workaholic.
be down. I would definitely be down. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ashlee, is there anything else you want to let your fans know? Anything else that we didn't talk about here tonight? I think we covered everything.
Yeah. I mean, just stay locked to my social media for sure. Cause that's where I'm sharing pretty much as possible. I try to share like the more uh, genuine moments and realness on TikTok. And then which is at Ashlee Keating Music. And then my Instagram, I'm on there at Ashlee Keating. And pretty much those are all my socials. So like I mean, under Ashlee Keating or Ashlee Keating Music. So yeah, just definitely stay tuned on all there and the more projects and will be coming very soon.
Yeah. You know, it'd be cool too if you came up with like I'm trying to think a relief song for LA, what's going on out there right now, because you're big into charity. You could give the proceeds to everyone
Oh,
that's lost their homes. That would be incredible too.
oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, giving back right now is a huge thing for me,
Yeah.
specifically going on. Praying for Los Angeles, praying for everyone.
Absolutely. Ashley, thank you for coming on the show. I had a great time speaking with you. Thank you to everyone that helped set this up. Amber, shout out to you. Thank you for helping us getting us connected here and just reworked. And yeah, I had a great time speaking with you. Let them know where they can tap in with you on all platforms too with the Instagram. Is it just that Ashley Keating? That's where you're at on every platform?
Yeah, it's ASHLEEKEATING for I was about to say YouTube. For Instagram, it's YouTube too. And then TikTok is at Ashlee Keating Music.
And there you have it. Ashley, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, anytime. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'm looking forward to the upcoming music.
Yes, I'm very excited. So just stay tuned.
Yeah. Take care. Have a great night. Bye
Bye.
bye.